Today is day 137. The topic of self-care came back today. I was in a Facebook group and somebody asked about self-care, and they said that the only thing they knew about self-care was somebody had told them to look in a mirror and repeat positive things to themselves in the mirror. And it was funny because I've been told that as well, and I've done that as a practice. And when I read it, I was like, that just seems so not nurturing and not loving and kind of harsh compared to the self-care that I've been finding out about and that I've been practicing. And I thought, wow, if I asked somebody about self-care and what it was and how I could do it and they told me that, I kind of wouldn't really feel very nourished and really cared for. And so, you know, what self-care is kind of getting quiet and finding, you know, my child self. So finding my inner child. Say if I'm upset or I'm depressed or something's happening, if I can get quiet and I can say, you know, Sophia, how are you? And see if I can hear an answer, and then, you know, so ask myself, how old is this part of myself? And a lot of the time that part of ourself will be like 5 or 11 or 14 or something like that, and we can actually have a dialogue with that inner child. So there are many different aspects to us, and we all have this inner child that is still very much at play in our life and in the decisions we make and the things we do and that kind of thing. So when we can connect to that inner child and we can have a dialogue and see where they are and what they need and how we can support them and let them know that they're safe with us and that we'll look after them, that's a really beautiful, nourishing self-care practice. Or, you know, getting quiet and really diving deep into our desires and our yearnings, asking ourselves, what do we desire to create in our relationships with our family? What do we desire to create in our relationships with our friends and our loved ones and our lovers and our partners? And really looking there, you know, what is it that we desire in life? What are our deep yearnings? What do we wish to create in this world? And kind of a self-care practice that is really kind of reflecting inside and seeing what we actually need. What is it that we need and we desire and we long for, and what part of us is not being heard? What part of us needs some attention? What part of us needs some self-care? So to me, that's what self-care is. And I've said before, this practice of doing this video journal is self-care to me, because I'm allowing myself on a daily basis to look back on the day and see what I can harvest out of that day that is nourishing and good, and a perspective that can kind of inspire me and lift me up and give me something inspiring to kind of connect with. And to me, that's a really good self-care practice. The self-care that I'm really connecting with, that feels really true to me, is taking care of the self. So taking care of Sophia. And how does Sophia get taken care of? Really, it's not through physical things. It's not through, you know, having my hair done or my nails done or getting a massage or having a spa. That's not really taking care of Sophia. Taking care of Sophia is really understanding what I need on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, to make me feel good inside, to bring positivity into my life, to bring inspiration into my life, to waken up my dreams and fill my dreams full of fire and fuel. You know, that to me is taking care of Sophia. And self-love, like loving ourselves by giving ourselves massage and you know, treating ourselves to nice things, that's also, that to me is kind of like in the bracket of self-care, you know, like we do need to take care of our physical bodies, of course, but self-care really is a much bigger thing. And the biggest thing that I've found is really to take care of our inner worlds, because we can have perfect nutrition, we can have a perfect body, we can have perfect nails and perfect hair, and if we are not really connecting with our inner worlds and connecting with our inner child and what it is that we desire and yearn for and long for and wish to bring out into the world, and if we're not connecting with what kind of relationships we want to be in and what we want to surround ourselves with in the world, if we're not connecting with all of that, we are not going to be taking care of ourselves. So there's nobody else who can actually take care of us in that way. There's nobody who can do that job for us. There's nobody who can go inside and say, okay, Sophia needs this, and this is what she's yearning for, and this is what she's desiring, and this is what will give her inspiration and make her happy today. There's nobody else who can do that. We are the only people who can do that for ourselves. So that is a deep self-care practice of going within and really connecting to what we desire and yearn for and what we really need, and being very truthful and taking radical responsibility for what it is that we need to care for ourselves and our inner worlds, so that we can bring a healthy person out into the world, so we can bring a healthy person into the relationships that we have in our life. To me, that is real self-care. Self-care practice can also be meditation or guided visualizations. So, if we're getting anxious and stressed, if we can listen to, put the insight timer on and listen to a meditation or a visualization, that's a self-care practice, knowing when we need to stop and be quiet and meditate and be guided into a place where we can feel our inspiration and we can feel the softness and the love and the care for ourselves again. Being guided into that place is a really good self-care practice as well. Sometimes we get so caught up in life and the day can be just overwhelming and full of anxiety and stress, and if we know that we can stop for 5 or 10 minutes, plug a guided visualization in or a meditation in and just calm ourselves down for a moment, that is a really, really good self-care practice. That is caring for the self and looking after our inner worlds. That's really, really good self-care. So self-care isn't just these simple kind of outward physical things. It's more of an inward practice where we get to reflect and understand what we need to be a healthy, happy person in the outside world, and to be confident within ourselves, to love ourselves, to accept ourselves, to be honoring of ourselves by understanding what we need and desire and yearn for and what makes us happy and inspired. That's a self-care practice. So that is day 137.